So many girls are really nervous about telling their parents, specifically their father, that they want to get married. Because it's like, dads forever look at their daughters as like little girls. So, what? You want to get married? You're 12 years old. When I was 18 years old, 18 years old. I had to say years old. Anyway, like you're going to think I was 18 months. Anyway, so when I was 18, I was like, man, I'm kind of bored, man. Maybe I should like get married or something. Maybe that would solve my boredom. So I went up to my dad. It was like a week before I turned 19, I think. And I was like, man, I'm 19. I'm getting old, man. I'm gonna need like a wheelchair soon. I need to get like married or something. I went to my dad. He was like in the kitchen, and I was like, yo, dad. He was like, what's up? And I was like, you know what time it is? And he was like, no, I don't gotta watch. And then I was like, it's time for me to get married. And he was like, what? Basically what happened, but in different words. And he was like all for it. He was like excited that I told him that I wanted to get married. So he was like, cool, write me a list of what you want, and I'll go to the store and find it for you. And I was like, cool. Check on aisle 3. They always have like the good ones. He was like, make me a list, and I'll go search different masjids to see if I could find what you're looking for. I wanted to make it like really official, so I put like Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, so let's go back to the topic at hand. Let's get away from this list that I made, because this is not about my list or about how I got married. This is not about that, because no one really cares about that right now. After I wrote my list, my father knew that I wanted to get married, so he had this idea in his mind. So when potentials came along, it wasn't like a big shock for him. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, what the fudge toast is going on? Like, what are you doing? Like, who is this person? Stranger danger. So when you are about to tell your father that you want to get married, 2 things can happen. One is that, like, if you already have a person in mind, you might get a negative response, depending on how your family views the marriage process. Like, some families feel like you should find your own spouse and then bring them to them, and some families, like my family, like my father was like, don't be talking to no guy without my permission, basically. So if you have been talking, so if your father's like my father, where he doesn't really approve of speaking to a guy without his knowledge, and you already have someone in mind, then things are going to get really, really awkward, uncomfortable, and he will probably be very upset. So that anger it's not gonna last that long, I guess, depending on if your father holds grudges or not. So prepare yourself, because if you have someone in mind and you tell them that you want to marry this specific person, then things might get a little bad, might go downhill for a little bit, might end up in an argument. But if you say, hey, you just want to get married, to like plant the idea of marriage in their mind, then that's gonna go a lot better than that you have this person in mind. If you do have this person in mind, if you're trying to make things easier, don't tell him that you want to marry him. Tell him you want to get to know him. You want to get to know him with his permission in a halal way. Like, don't make it seem like, even if you guys were like boyfriend and girlfriend. I know Muslims don't really like to say boyfriend, girlfriend, but so don't make it seem like you had a boyfriend and girlfriend relationship. Just tell them that, you're trying to get to know them. What the fudge is that? Amir's not here, and I heard something in my living room. After you tell him that you want to get to know this person, it's going to be kind of like, oh my gosh, I gotta tell him. So yeah, just do it. Just rip it off like it's a band-aid, just like, Dad, I gotta tell you something. I kind of want to get married. And by kind of, I mean, there's this person that I'm kind of interested in, and I just want to, I want to get to know them in a halal way with your permission. I don't want to, like, I don't want to get, like, a boyfriend or anything. Like, so, I was thinking, like, can you, like, meet him at the masjid, or can I give him your phone number? Because I want you to see his faults, and, not his faults, but I just want to see who he is before, like, I attach myself to this person emotionally. So maybe that might help. I think so. Like I said, it might be a very awkward conversation. It might get a little heated because your father might feel disrespected. So don't allow your emotions to get up in it. That's another thing. Like, don't allow your don't develop the feels, because developing the feels before your father knows is never a good idea. But that's a different thing for a different story. So I think I covered what I needed to cover. Basically, rip it off like a band-aid. Just tell them straight up, yo dad, you know, I got this person in mind. I want you to see if they are suitable for marriage. That's the basics of this video. If you fast forward it and randomly ended up at this part, that's the basics of this video.